Hey guys, welcome back to Thunderdomehomestead. So, I just had what I would consider to be possibly one of the worst weekends of my life. Now, this isn't going to be a sob story, woe is me, none of that. My goal in giving you this information is so that you can have some thought provoking information. That way, you can be proactive versus reactive in certain aspects, as well as to allow you to learn from my mistakes that could have been prevented by doing basic prepper shit. So, I went up to my parents this weekend, and I was in there, and they have a newly installed wood stove. It was installed by a professional um, late fall, so less than a winter old. They'd been burning it for quite some time without any issue until this weekend. So they didn't burn any wet wood. They didn't burn any pine. They didn't burn. It was all good hardwood. Um, but they ran the thing almost constantly with the damp air closed. So this wood was burning, but it wasn't burning hot enough to burn out any creosote that was attempting to build up in the pipe. So there was a creosote buildup in the pipe. I found this out because I was sitting by the stove and, excuse me, I was sitting by the stove and I started to smell like a paint smell. And then I seen smoke coming from the chimney pipe, like off the pipe, like off gassing. And then I looked at the magnet that we keep on the pipe. It's one of them temperature gauge magnet things that tell you if your pipe's getting too hot. It was. So I grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall. Come to find out that this fire extinguisher's at least 5 years old, if not older. There was no propellant or aerosol, whatever it is, that shoots the stuff out in it. So basically, I had just a big paperweight. So, lesson number one: have a multitude of fire extinguishers and make sure that they are up to date and not expired. Luckily, I had one out in the garage that was newer. I ran out and grabbed it, and I doused the flames inside the wood stove. And I shut everything down. I shut it up real good, trying to starve whatever coals was still there of oxygen, because a fire needs oxygen. I ran outside, and I seen that there was a where the clean out tee is. If you have a wood stove, run it through the wall. You have what's called a clean out tee, where you pop a cap off and you can run a broom up through and then close it back up. This cap was glowing red. That's how hot this thing had gotten. And at this time, my mom was on the phone with the fire department getting them out there. Well, by the time they had showed up, I had had it mostly taken care of. However, they did help a little bit, and they actually helped clean whatever was in there out, and they were good, awesome folks. But the moral of this story is this: we're all preppers, right? Well, if the shit hits the fan, or things go sideways, whatever, you're not going to be able to call the fire department. You got to be your own fire department. You got to have all the things you need to keep your house, trailer, apartment, houseboat, camper, RV, bug out location, whatever, from burning down. Because, I mean, after all, that's where a lot of your preps are, right? You'd lose everything. So you got to be your own fire department. Do you have the things that you need to be able to do that? Do you have pumps and hoses and fire extinguishers and, all of that stuff? So, be your own fire department. And that's something that I am currently beefing up as we speak on my own preparedness. So, I was up pretty late trying to take care of that. Once I'd got everything out, I was just sitting there. I got a call from my best childhood friend. And I knew something was wrong because it was 1 in the morning and he never calls at 1 in the morning. So he had called me and informed me that one of our good mutual childhood friends had killed himself. I'm going to come out and say this right now. That's never the answer. If you need help, reach out for it. It is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And your pain isn't going away. You're just giving it to someone else. The people that love and care about you, they're the ones that absorb that pain that you released. If you or anyone you know are struggling and you need somebody to talk to or anything, call this number right here. Please. Anyhow, the next thing. So, after all that's said and done, I get off the phone. I run back outside to go check, make sure that everything's good and tight on the chimney so that I can get a fire back going again. Oh, I look down in the basement and there's 4 or 5 inches of water down there. Sump pump was bad. So, hurried up, replace that. Because I keep multiple sump pumps as backups as part of my preps. But had I not noticed it, it could have been a lot worse. And I also have a little puddle pump you can hook up to a garden hose. I could drop that down in. But it was just one crisis after another this weekend. So I went to bed. Next morning, Sunday, I get up and I'm picking up my boat. I'm bringing it from where I had stored to where I can work on it, fix it up, and use it for the year to fish. I get about halfway there. Tire blows out. So I pull off onto the side of the highway. And by the time I would be able to go get another tire or anything like that, for one, half the people was closed because it was Sunday. So the only ones I would have been able to go to would have been either Walmart, maybe Harbor Freight, or Tractor Supply. And I'm not patronizing Tractor Supply anymore. So Walmart and Harbor Freight. The closest ones were about an hour from where I was at. I had the kids in the car that had school the next day. By the time I would have been able to go out, drive an hour back, plus change the tire, plus get everything to where I was going, and unload, it would have been well past their bedtime. And it would have been a several hour thing, and kids don't want to sit in cars for hours. So I ended up dropping the boat off, unhooking it from the truck, and just leaving it on the side of the road. Next lesson. 2 is 1, 1 is none. I should have had a spare. I didn't. I messed up. So, the next morning I went up to harbor, and I bought not 1, not 2, but 3 boat tires, because they come with the rim and tire all in one piece. So I got them. I replaced the one that was bad, and I have 2 spares. Got it home, and that was that. So again, the moral of the story is, have a spare or 2. Again, that could have been prevented by basic prepper stuff. Now, there was a few other things that happened that stunk, but I don't really have a relevant lesson for those things, so I'm not going to give you a sob story because they're not important and they're not relevant to you. But those stories that I told you are: be your own fire department. If you need help, reach out for it. And don't do anything stupid, because it may feel like you don't have any other option, but I can tell you that you do. It is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. And third, get a freaking spare tire, dummy. Anyhow, hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later.